everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and October, which started today, October 1st, is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I thought that I might share some information each and every Tuesday with you this month on how you can either approach breast cancer if you've been diagnosed with it, or if you know somebody that has it, or maybe you're just looking for a way to prevent it. Maybe it's something that runs in your family. Maybe you know somebody who has breast cancer. And so today, just a quick, short a webinar here on the Doctor's Clinic page. Here's an article that was published in the Journal of Breast Cancer in 2015. And so I thought I might share this. So this was published 4 years ago in May in 2015. And you can read by the title of the article there, Omega-3 Fatty Acids for Breast Cancer Prevention and Survivorship. So, folks, for you women and men who are working, have women in your lives that you want to help them prevent this, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Women with evidence of high intake ratios of marine omega-3 fatty acids, eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, and doxohexaenoic acid, DHA, relative to the omega-6 arachidonic acid, have been found to have a reduced risk of breast cancer compared to those with low ratios in some but not all case control studies. So if increasing EPA and DHA relative to arachidonic acid in reducing breast cancer risk, likely mechanisms include reduction in pro-inflammatory lipid derivatives. Well, this is something that I've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Omega-6 is a pro-inflammatory fat. According to the studies that I published last week, if you go to a typical Chinese restaurant and you order just a single order of sweet and sour chicken, you're going to get 30,000 milligrams of omega-6. Omega-6 is the pro-inflammatory fat, and so you're going to suffer from low-grade inflammation. And to lower this, you want to address it by increasing your EPA DHA, which comes from fish oils, folks. And so you can lower this simply by adding omega-3 fatty acids. Interesting, because what it does is that the omega-6 and the omega-3 basically go to the same place in the body. And if you have enough omega-3, it's going to block your body from letting the omega-6s attach. So interesting. So primary prevention trials with these biomarkers or cancer incidence are underway, and they've been doing studies on this. But what they found is that the supplementation helped to prevent or alleviate problems with people after the breast cancer diagnosis. It also helped with cardiac and cognitive dysfunction, chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy as well. That's interesting, because when we take a look at the studies on nicotinamide riboside and nicotinamide mononucleotide, which are a form of niacin, vitamin B3, they also find that those things help with the chemotherapy-induced peripheral neuropathy. Interesting. EPA DHA also has insulin sensitizing and anabolic properties. So, and then it goes on to say that chemotherapy-associated loss of muscle mass and weight gain can be addressed with omega-3 fats. And we all know that when people are undergoing chemotherapy, that they tend to lose weight. They tend to get real small. They tend to have problems with decreased immune function. Folks, think about that. You can help these people out just by telling them, hey, maybe you should consume some fish oils. I was working with a friend of mine that had been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about 3 years ago. And I told him when he got diagnosed right away in the beginning, I said, omega-3s, you want to be on these omega-3s. And I hadn't seen this article then. I just found this article yesterday actually. And so when they're talking about this, the predominant driving force in breast carcinogenesis, which is the formation of new breast cancer, has been thought to be hormonal. Cytokine production and inflammation are also being recognized as important in breast cancer development and progression. A progressive increase in activated macrophages and T cells is observed between normal breast tissue, proliferative breast disease, and breast cancer. So the stimulus for the increase in inflammatory cell infiltration observed with proliferative breast disease and breast cancer is unknown, but probably has varying etiologies, including immunogenic gene alterations, epithelial cells, reaction to breakdown of basement membrane components, and for obese women, excess cytokine production from dysfunctional fat cells. So they found that long-chain fatty acids, EPA, DHA, which are found in fish oils, are able to help modulate this, and they're able to help lower the inflammation. And so it helps with regulating and modulating the pro-inflammatory omega-6 arachidonic acid. Right. And when I learned about arachidonic acid years ago, arachidonic acid is the one that it causes a cascade of events to happen in your body, including autoimmune type disorders and inflammatory reactions, like allergic type reactions as well. And so when you supplement with omega-3 fats to reduce the cancer and other chronic debilitating conditions, including cardiovascular disease, cognitive impairment, like dementia, Alzheimer's, they show that this really helps out. So we want to have a high omega-3, low omega-6 intake ratio. And they found that when they looked at different societies, different populations that had high fish intake, marine fish that are, full of fats like cod liver oil and things like that. So they found people in Japan and Alaskan natives and Greenland, they found that there was a decrease in the amount of problems with cognitive function and breast cancer. And so we want to have, according to this, we want to have a ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 closer to 1:1, 1:2, like it says here, similar to the pre-civilized man. But now, here in the States, as I reported last week, some reports are showing that our omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is somewhere close to, 20 to 25 to 1. I mean, holy cow. So how does it work? Well, the omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids are a group of essential polyunsaturated fatty acids that play important roles in the cells, the cell membrane, cell signaling, right? We've heard a lot about cell signaling in the research lately. But basically what it does is that it helps to get rid of inflammation. So you can see here omega-6, the progression, linoleic acid, arachidonic acid, and then it causes these pro-inflammatory. If you look on the side of the graph over there, the omega-3s, it goes to EPA and then DHA, which is minimally inflammatory. Okay? So here's another chart, shows how it works. I'll just leave that up there for a little bit so you can look at that. But bottom line is that when you're looking at the EPA, DHA, it works on the what they call the coxin enzymes, and we've heard a lot about that with different medications, pain medications that were shown to cause heart disease. but the omega-3 works on the same pathway, and it blocks the inflammatory recruitment. Interesting. And then it also has a neuroprotective mechanism, and so, pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting. But they went on to say that when you take omega-3 fish oils, you can go through here. You can see that primary source of EPA, DHA of fish and supplements, and very dramatically in their content. DHA is generally present equal or higher amounts in EPA in seafood, but the total amount of EPA, DHA, as well as the ratio of EPA, DHA vary by supplement to supplement. And so, the supplement that I highly recommend is the Sisel Supra Omega Plus. And the reason why Super Omega Plus has a balance of the omega-3s to the omega-6s, but it's also got omega-5, 7s, and 9s, which all work together to help improve function and make it so it works better. So there we can see different sources of the EPA, DHA. They don't have krill listed on there, but they found that krill has a different form of the DHA, and the DHA is actually a great way of getting fats to the brain, and helps with that. So how does the EPA DHA work with preventing breast cancer? And they've been doing this studies in labs, but they found that it reduces the pro-inflammatory fats and increase in inflammation resolving fats. So inflammation. So if you read into this, they're basically saying that inflammation is the main cause of breast cancer. Well, think about it. What is breast tissue mostly made of? It's mostly made of fatty tissue. And so what they're trying to say is that if you overload your diet with pro-inflammatory fats, chances are that's going to be deposited into the breast tissue. Interesting, right? So here's the results of the studies. The results of the case-controlled studies, particularly when questionnaires are used, the primary measure of exposure, are mixed. They probably reflect accuracy of recall and what people ate. So they find that when it's food, total fish intake and breast cancer in population where fish and fatty fish consumption be low, they say that there's no significant association, right? Because people just don't eat that much fish, not in the United States. Typical American diet, we have a high ratio of omega-6, like we were talking about earlier, and what I presented last week on this call was that we have a ratio of 16 all the way up to 25-1, depending on what you found. But so when we look at these different studies, I'm looking for a place in this study that I was reading, and right there, I got it highlighted right there. You can see it in the gray, that the higher levels of EPA DHA was reported to be associated with a 25% reduction in breast cancer reoccurrence and improved over-mortality in a high cohort of over 3,000 women with early-stage breast cancer. I think that's something that you need to share. It's another reason that you want to be on omega-3 fatty acids, and you want to be on a high quality one. You don't want to just go to your local store and buy any old fish oil, because let's face it, if you take fats and you leave them laying out at room temperature, they're going to go rancid. They're going to go bad. Well, that's what happens with most of these fats that that you buy, the fish oils that you buy. They also go on to say EPA DHA reduces bone density, it reduces joint pain, prevents insulin resistance. Again, they talk about sarcopenic weight gain. Like sarcopenia. I always tell people it's like thinking about somebody who's skinny, yet their fat content is really high. When you grab their arm, you can feel that there's just no muscle mass at all. And so, they're saying that if you even just do a moderate or a minimal amount of exercise, 90 minutes of exercise per week, vitamin D3, 2,000 international units a day, and a gram of EPA DHA a day, 1 gram. Then they go on to say that cognitive abnormalities observed in 20 to 70% of women after chemotherapy. So it's commonly called chemotherapy brain, right? They seem like they've gotten a little bit of dementia. So they're saying here that the anti-inflammatory compounds found in fish oil enhances the production of neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, GABA, epinephrine, norepinephrine. These are all your neurotransmitters. And so they're saying that these fish oils are going to help with that, and they're going to help with reducing the production of these amyloid plaques, right? Amyloid plaques. You'll hear a lot about that if you're paying attention to Alzheimer's disease. And you'll hear about that. So they're saying doses of DHA for cognitive improvement in the range of 1,800 milligrams per day. 1,800 milligrams per day, right? And what's your best source of DHA? Well, in my opinion, krill oil. Krill oil. So again, when we're looking at different fish oil supplements, this is the one that I like. This is the one that I take every day. I give it to my black lab, not because I'm worried about him getting breast cancer, but it shows that it helps to prevent arthritis and heart disease in humans and in animals. And boy, I tell you what, my dog is my buddy. He travels with me. Chewy travels with me a lot. And so he gets a dose of this every day as well. He only gets one. I only give him one. He's only 80 pounds. I actually take 4 of these a day. So I'm getting a little bit more, but Supra Omega Plus has been specially formulated to enhance the cardiovascular health, protect for cognitive function, and offers a source of dynamic antioxidants. So, you can see here, you can read that. It's a powerful mixture of laboratory extracted omega fatty acids, omega-3s, omega-6s, right? They're considered essential. Omega-7, which helps to regulate fat and blood sugar. Omega-9, which increases metabolism. And then we add CoQ10. CoQ10 helps prevent heart disease. There's a lot of great studies on that. Omega-5 is a powerful antioxidant. It boosts the immune system. Omega-7, which helps to regulate fat and blood sugar levels. And then omega-9 to increase metabolism, also improve your attitude. So there's some vitamin D3, again, very, very important. And so, folks, I'm just going to click on this here so you can see the label of this product, right? 3 soft gels are considered the normal dose. Like I said, I actually take 4, and my goal is I'm gonna ramp this up. I'm gonna ramp it up. I'm gonna take 4 for a while, and then I'm gonna bump it up to 5, and eventually I'm gonna take 6. I want to take 6 of these a day because I just think that it's that healthy for me that I look at kind of my family history, and inflammation tends to be something that runs in the family. So I think that there's some genetic pathways that are causing this. If you look at your parents, your grandparents, if any of them had any autoimmune disorders like rheumatoid arthritis, if they have osteoarthritis, if anybody has any heart disease, you might want to think about doing that as well. You might want to bump up, ramp your levels up to a double dose. It's also got some curcumins, and so it really is. It's really a great product. So anyhow, folks, like I said, just a quick share today on the call. I wanted everybody to have that. I didn't want to skip doing the doctor's clinic call today. I know that Aaron had made an important announcement, an hour and a half ago during the time frame that I normally do the doctor's clinic call. So anyhow, folks, have a great day. Start taking Supra Omega Plus. In my opinion, I think that this is the very best product as far as your Supra Omegas. I don't recommend anything else. This is the one that I take. This is the one that I have my folks taking, and this is the one I'd have you taken as well. And so take this, and if you have any pre-existing or familial type of tendency for heart disease or anything that might be autoimmune, maybe different types of cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, then you might want to think about doubling up on this as well. You might want to think about that. So have a great day. Bye-bye.